So welcome everybody to day 58 of Compassionate Response to COVID-19. And so today I've got Sthiraprabha again, and he's on the beach at Hove. He's just had his swim. So you go swimming through the winter, do you, at Hove?
Yeah, I've managed probably 3 swims every month since last May. So I'm now a year-round swimmer, I guess. It's slightly poignant because, as you know, I'm moving. I'm still going to be in Hove, but I'm going to be moving quite a bit further away from the sea. So I'm not going to have that opportunity quite so easily.
Yeah.
And the other thing about this time of year, this is of course when most people, or a lot of people, do actually start swimming, and so you get more people around, and I think I'm quite a sort of solitudinous sort of person, and I can get a bit sort of spiky about, other people. What are they doing here? They weren't here in the winter.
Yeah.
So that's one of my sort of reflections about other people, and that's why I want to do the Metta Bhavana today.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've had my little swim. Don't go very far. Don't go very fast. But I feel better, and it is actually quite nice thinking about solitude and lockdown. Yeah. There are always one or two other people around in the winter, an odd nod and a wave, perhaps. And but yeah, here I am on the beach.
Yeah. So you're going to lead a Metta Bhavana today?
We'll do a Metta Bhavana today. But before I do, I've just got this routine. Or ritual rather. I'm going to return some pebbles that have been living with me for quite a few years, with us, me and my wife and daughter. Some of them are rather lovely, but they're going to go back. A chalky one. I think that's it. Yeah, I was going to start with a reading, actually. Would you like me to do that?
Yeah. Just go ahead.
Yeah. Well, as I said, I'm packing up after 9.5 years here, and so things come to hand, including the things like books, and this is from Buddhist sculptures, scriptures rather, compiled by Edward Conza. It just opened at a page that I often used to read a few years ago, and it's about the advantages of meditation. Secluded meditation. Secluded meditation has many virtues. All the Tathagatas have won their all knowledge in a state of secluded meditation, and even after their enlightenment have devoted themselves to it. They are as follows. Secluded meditation guards him who meditates, lengthens his life, gives him strength, and shuts out faults. It removes ill fame and leads to good repute. It drives out discontent and makes for contentment. It removes fear and gives confidence. It removes sloth and generates vigor. It removes greed, hate, and delusion. It slays pride, breaks up preoccupations, makes thought one-pointed, softens the mind, generates gladness, makes one venerable, gives rise to much profit, makes one worthy of homage, brings exuberant joy, causes delight, shows the own being of all conditioned things, abolishes rebirth in the world of becoming, and it bestows all the benefits of an ascetic life. These are the 28 advantages of meditation, which induce the Tathagatas to practice it. So I thought that was a good reading at this time when we're perhaps thinking of being in lockdown and solitude. And I'm someone who rather likes to cut himself off. So solitude's been an odd experience. It's meant actually having my wife and daughter around a lot more, but I've still tried to cut myself off. When I come down here, I very often like to avoid it when it starts to get busier. But thinking about it, although there are these wonderful advantages of solitude, one's never really alone. And when I do come down here, we're talking about the beach here, I do like to see other people around just for my own safety and security. This time of year, the lifeguards would normally be out. They're not around, obviously, in solitude, in lockdown. I don't know where they are, perhaps in solitude. And so, although I think I like to be in solitude, cut myself off, I do need to be reminded of other people, remind myself how I need other people. And so I thought we'd do a Metabhavana today on the beach at Hove. You might be able to have a look and see. There are a few people getting ready to go in. Low tide. Okay. And yeah, we'll just do a Metabhavana. So first is yourself. Sometimes a bit of a challenge. I'm going to think about my cat, actually, because I'm going to take the cat to the vet. So that's going to be one of my ways into feeling positive feelings about just generating a sense of well-being. The second stage is we know we bring to mind a friend, someone we've got some connection with. This is usually, for many people, the easiest part, just bringing to mind someone they're close to, someone they've got a well-known relationship with. The third stage, bringing to mind a neutral person. Perhaps they're people you haven't seen very much of, as we're in solitude at the moment, in lockdown. The people around here, people I see from time to time when I come down to the beach. Maybe people you meet in shops, sort of queuing with your social distancing. I've lived here for quite a few years now, and so I start to see people in a way which maybe I didn't when I lived in London with Mahabodhi those years ago. And then the fourth stage is the enemy, difficult person. I don't know why we call them difficult, because I think actually very often it's yourself creating some of those problems. And I tend to be, maybe it's my age, get a bit spiky. There are quite a few people I can find to irritate me, and actually I find this stage as I think many people do, difficult because I don't want to confront my own prejudice, really, my own spikiness, inwardness, judgmentalness. That's a challenge. And then the last stage, is to bring more and more people together. Yesterday I was down here a little bit later in the day. There were some mums with their kids. There were fishermen along here. There's the stone groin here. I think, judging from what their voices, they were Arabs. There were some, I think, Brazilian people over here. Imagine coming all the way from Brazil to here. People are fairly relaxed, actually, about social distance at certain times, which is actually rather nice. There's some sort of spacing, but you can clearly feel that people want to be with other people, to communicate with other people. So, bringing to mind the kind of situations that you've been in, where you do come across people, all kinds of different people, and just moving out from there. So that's the fifth stage. I think we'll have about 3 minutes per stage. Is that about right?
Yeah.
And I haven't got a bell, but I have got my pebble. So I'll ring a bell using the pebble as we move on. So I would just say another thing is a lot of us aren't very keen on the metta-bhavana. We might prefer the mindfulness of breathing or just sitting, and I'm certainly one of those people. So I'd just like to thank Mahal Bodhi for asking me to do something, because it's really making me do this metta-bhavana, which I probably wouldn't do otherwise. Okay, I can still feel the effect of the swim, actually, a bit of a chill. So the first stage, bring to mind yourself, your experience, sitting in wherever you are, your room. Maybe you've just got up. Maybe you're nice and warm. Maybe you've got a bit of a chill from the sea, as I have. Other people around, perhaps. So, first stage of the metta-bhavana, bring to mind your own experience, sitting here, wherever you are, and just bring to mind a sense of your own happiness, well-being, your desire for happiness, and well-being. So we'll sit for about 2 or 3 minutes just reflecting on ourselves and our own need and desire for well-being. The metta-bhavana. So from this sense of well-being, well-wishing towards yourself, bring to mind a good friend. Bring to mind a sense of well-wishing and love for them. Okay. So bring to mind a neutral person. Try to stay with this neutral person. It could be one of your colleagues you see on from time to time on Zoom, someone from a local shop. But just try to stay with this person, aware that they too want to be happy, they want to be well, they want to be free from suffering. Now we bring to mind an enemy, someone we feel irritable about, someone who upsets us. Bringing that person to mind. Understanding that they want to be well and happy. And understanding that bearing resentments and ill will doesn't help us either. And now we bring more and more people together, people we know quite well, people we hardly know, and gradually beginning to include more and more people. People in our own town, people I might see here on the beach, in the sea, in the seafront. And whatever your predisposition, or prejudice, or feelings, initial feelings, recognizing that they all want to be well and happy, and that building barriers don't help us. concerned in the practice in your own way. Just reflecting on your experience.
Wow, got a view. So if you just joined us, this is Sthiraprabha in Hove, near Brighton, in southern UK. It was really nice to hear the seagulls in the background and dog barking and all.
I forgot to remind us of all living beings, actually. That I think focusing more on people. But yeah, I've got dogs, obviously. The other day I was out there and I'm sure I bumped a fish. Got seagulls. There were cormorants earlier on. So here we are.
Yeah.
All these people, they want to be well, they want to be happy. Yeah, I have to say that in my days when I was teaching meditation more regularly, I never really liked the Metta Bhavana. But I feel that, if you don't really work when you've got the chance, on your, your predispositions, your prejudice, I suppose, for want of a better word, they come back. And I notice as I get older, habits that I sort of felt when I was younger I could skim over, they come back. Those sort of habits of mind, cutting yourself off unnecessarily, irritability and worse, they come back if you don't really sort of root them out. So well, thanks for asking me to do something. So because I think I need the Metta Bhavana. I don't know about anybody else.
Yeah. So I've got a sense. Do you mind if I just ask you a few questions and things?
No, I do.
We've still got like 25 minutes before half 8.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah. It's just like the image is very dark on here. But anyway, carry on. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I mean, one thing that fascinates me is, I'm doing this series on Meet the Order, and so some of the earliest order members are ordained in the early 70s or late 60s, and then you've got like generations who've been, in the order 40 years, 30 years, 20. We've been in the order 20 odd years, haven't we?
Got my 25th anniversary coming up next month. I've been talking to the guys about doing it, and that, I suppose, one of the odd things is that when it first came up at the beginning of the year, in some ways I wasn't that bothered, but the fact is it was difficult to find a time and a place to all get together. But one of the oddities, of course, of lockdown is everybody's on Zoom or whatever it is. So we're going to do it on Zoom. So it's a kind of odd experience, really. I don't know how it's going to be, but all the hassle about where should we meet and what weekend, and should it be a weekend retreat or all out of the window, and we're just going to do it on Zoom.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about that time in the order, but you're right, there are different sort of generations.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the sense I get is that, in a way, because people have very different paths, and some people are, spend decades involved with the institutions of the order and all that, and other people have a more kind of solitary path, or even kind of on the edge of everything, But what strikes me is that, it's almost like it doesn't matter in a way. If you've been in the order 30 years, you've got there's something about you. There's something. No matter what you've been doing, you know what I mean? Do you recognise that?
I guess that's true. The very fact that I'm relatively solitudinous, if that's the adjective, it's hard for me to judge sometimes what else is going on.
Yeah.
In the order, really. But yeah, I mean, it's something which certainly kind of stays with you.
Yeah. It's like a mythical thing, isn't it? Really, it's like. Do you think?
Yeah, I think it's it's sort of both more and less than being a Buddhist, isn't it? It doesn't seem to be quite, well, I'm a Buddhist. It's there is something else about choosing in that way to join that particular grouping,
yeah,
bunch of whoever we are,
yeah,
which makes it more, and in some cases, some people might say less, but it certainly makes it not the same as just simply being and committed to being a Buddhist. Yeah, it does give that sort of, I don't know, was it fellowship? That's certain sort of connection that, just sort of stays there, really.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of the reasons why, in the end, although I thought about leaving, I couldn't do it, so I've stuck with it.
Yeah, stuck with it.
Stuck with it. Well, or the order's me. Perhaps that's the other way around as well. I think that's quite good as well. That should be part of it. The order sticks to you, as well as you stick to the order.
Yeah. I suppose it's like
there are definite different generations. I think 95 I was ordained. There was quite a system was up and running for ordination. Because we all had, most of us had experienced right livelihoods, which were actually thriving in many parts of the country. So we had that particular kind of, experience, but basis, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of thinking about, with you particularly, because of your background in Tai Chi and like Taoism and all that, I think of like this kind of like sort of Zen masters living in, kind of hut and all that, and just doing poems about the moon and all that sort of thing, and and there's something about it's like it's about what is a human being in the end. This is what this is all about, isn't it? So it's a bit like you might be in a Buddhist institution and things, but Buddhists in the past have always been tested by their masters who, the important thing is like who you are, not what you're, not what you are, whether you're the abbot or not, it's like it's who you are, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And so the solitary guy is often is interested in that, who am I, am I being authentic, am I being honest about everything that's going on for me, so that's the sense I get about you, like that that's very important to you, that you're honest about what's actually going on, and that.
Well, that's nice to hear it. I mean, it's not how I experience myself, of course. And I think, I've got those other roles which, going back 25 years when I joined the order, I didn't really envisage having. I mean, I've got a daughter, she's coming up to 13. I've got a cat. And my partner, my wife. I mean, one thing I would say about that, particularly sort of getting involved in family life later in life, is that when I joined the order 25 years ago, I thought I knew where I was with my family, i.e. my mother and father who were still around, my brothers and other relatives. And I sort of thought I'd got some of that stuff sorted, with all of the issues you have in a family. But over the last 10 years living here, 9.5 years living here, I realised that quite a lot of those issues I've never really have quite sorted out. Who am I? You're putting it in that kind of terms. So I think we do sort of carry around a lot of stuff that if we don't do the work, come back and bite us and maybe bite other people as well. So I think that's sort of where I'm at the moment. Really, is trying to trying to see myself in that sort of context. Really.
Yeah.
But as you said, we have had that experience. We are in the order. We have had quite different experiences, and that's sometimes that's a really positive. Other times it's sort of odd because you can feel a bit a bit different from others in some ways. You haven't had that experience.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I was quite upset actually when my Taoist Tai Chi teacher died a few years ago. I hadn't seen him for years and years, and I don't do a lot of Tai Chi these days. But yeah, very good memories of that.
Yeah.
But now I think, if I'm, what do I do? Well, I come down here. I do a bit of walking. I've got my online, English work. And again, I think I perhaps draw on some of the experiences that we had in the order if I'm, teaching English, from the sort of environments that we were in with trying to, I suppose, form positive groups. That was the word you'd use. Yeah. Trying to be, human yourself and see the humanity in others. I think that some of those trainings and experience, I hope anyway, carry over into that kind of work. Yeah. Despite the contrary forces of, corporate culture and wage slavery and all the rest of it. Yeah. But yeah, it's been nice being reminded of those links, both by you with your program and this upcoming reunion with the guys.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. And do you want to say something about cricket?
Well,
cricket and Englishness.
Kind of a funny experience with cricket because again, it's a bit like family. My dad took me to cricket in the early '60s, and those memories of cricket was always on the telly, and they always looked so unfit and unglamorous. Well, a lot of them did, not all of them. One or two of them did look very, very glamorous. I'm actually trying to write a piece at the moment about cricket, funnily enough, to do with my dad's death. I don't think there is a lot I can say about cricket, really. Again, you've got all these kind of feelings because you're if you go to a test match, you've got all these different people, lots of people. Some of them are half pissed. You've got that kind of collective experience, which can be very positive, but can also be intoxicating. More regularly, I'd go to the cricket ground here in Hove and find a deck chair amongst other, let's say, chaps of certain ages, dozing, reading the paper, and finding some sort of fellowship there.
Yeah.
And I don't know if there's a lot to say in a way.
Well, I think the thing that strikes me is that it's like a game that lasts for 5 days. 5 days,
It's hard,
there's a connection there between solitude, spaciousness,
Well, I suppose the other thing is obviously in lots of different formats, but in that format, see, when you're watching it at home, there's something there's something completely useless about it, first of all. And it is something sort of almost agricultural, because certainly when you're there, you're sitting there and the fielder could be just a few yards off, and the poor guy's he's not doing anything. He could be there, for it feels like days on end and nothing really happens. So there's something kind of a bit, a bit like something, some sort of agricultural thing where,
a bit like fishing. It's a bit like fishing.
A bit here and there.
Yeah.
And then the next, but nothing very much. It's a kind of exercise and not very much, really. A lot of it.
Yeah.
But I can't say a lot about that. Yeah.
Okay, Oaks. All right.
I'm going to have to think about going inland to get my cat.
Yeah.
And take it to vet. It's about 20 past. So.
Yeah.
You chose very good time to get me, with the move and everything, and today the cat. But I think I'm going to leave you there.
Yeah.
I've got to finish getting dressed.
Yeah.
And make sure I don't. I'm not late for the vet.
Yeah.
All right, and my battery's going as well. So that's good.
I think he's gone. Oh, he's back. Hello.
The battery's going.
Okay.
So the battery's going. I'm going.
Yeah.
For inviting me. Hope it was useful.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, really nice. Thanks. Yeah.
Okay, and
all right.
there's the seat there. All right.
See ya.
Cheers.
All right.
Oh.